to our first ever episode of, what are we going to call it, David? Get to know our customers with David.
Yeah, you can call it that. We can call it whatever you want.
So we're lucky enough to have David Schroeder here with us. He's our first guest on the show. We've also got Joe Hoffner and, of course, Kevin Jr., myself. The point of this show is to just kind of give people something to look at and get to know our customers, what they value, what they like about us, what they don't like about us. Maybe we're just going to chit-chat, have some fun, and get to know David some more. So without further ado, let us know who you are. Family, hobbies, work, car club, passion. What are you into? Give us a little background about yourself.
So really, I'm mostly in the cars and boats. The biggest thing we do here is cars. And this is my 2015 Camaro running the Ace clutch. And then my brother's car too. We have a single turbo Camaro 1LE. And then this is my new car, King Midas is what we're calling it. It's got a gold motor. And then that'll also be getting an Ace clutch. So I have one brother, one sister, a dog, a cat, and then my mom and dad.
Did you say a gold motor?
Yep, got a gold motor. We almost called it Golden Nugget because of the gold motor. But then I was like,
it's King Midas, right?
Did you buy it like that, or did you paint it?
I painted it. I bought it. It was just a bare car. I bought it from a guy up in Columbus. I did the full drivetrain in it. It came with the brakes. It's got Willwood 6-piston brakes in it. So that was nice. But mostly we did all the work on it.
David, tell us about the decal on your Camaro there.
So 111 is my number, which is off of my grandpa's race boat. He used to race hydroplane boats back in the day. And then the NA is actually my class from last season. Novice All was a class that I ran last season because it was my first full season technically. And I just kind of wanted to get my feet wet with it and kind of learn what I was doing out there with this car, and did pretty good for the first year.
Excellent.
So, I got a question for you. How did you acquire the car? What's the story about it? What do you like about it so much?
So I was sitting in class one day, high school. I think I was a sophomore. And sophomore in high school, sitting in math class, and I had been looking at cars, we buy salvage cars here, so I was looking through this salvage website, and my dad texted me, and he said, hey, there's this wrecked 2015 V6 auto Camaro, super nice, super low miles. He's like, it's in Indianapolis. Let's go get this thing. And I was like, I'm in class, what am I going to do? And he's like, well, I pulled you out of school. I called the principal. We're going to get this car.
Nice.
So we went up there, we got it, loaded it up on the trailer. I can send you guys some pictures of what it was before. And the whole front end was smashed in. We bought it. We kept it a V6 auto. I did some little things, did some wheels, did brakes, exhaust. And then another Camaro popped up similar to it in black. I think it was a 2LT SS, if I remember correctly. And that was a flood car. And it was super cheap. So I was like, you know what? I want to drivetrain swap it. I've always wanted to put an LS in it. Let's drivetrain swap it. So I got this second Camaro here as the donor car. So we took that motor, we sent it off to BES Racing, which is a engine shop up the street from me. They did ported heads on it, stock rebuild pretty much, other than just pistons and ARP bottom end. And we took everything else from the computer, the trans. Luckily, the computer was okay. Motor was trashed, but we didn't care. We were like, it's getting sent to a machine shop anyway. So we did all that. And then about a year ago, I acquired the Ford's-on wheels. Got a set of wheels from those. They're heavily beaten, but they're super cool looking because they've got the old race beaten look, So I got those, and then I did the wing, which is really just a Z28 wing. I don't know if you guys can see it in this video, but Z28 wing, Z28 aero. It's Texas speed cam, BES ported heads. Pretty simple build, just a nice setup. And I think the thing I love the most about it, probably the drivetrain in it. Sounds great, runs great. It sounds killer with the clutch in it because of how fast it revs.
Yeah.
So I get a ton of compliments on it. Everybody at the track has always wanted to ride in it. I just love it.
It makes driving fun, huh?
Absolutely. I'm driving it right after this video. We're going out cruising right after this, so it's gonna be a blast.
Nice. So, what kind of person buys an Ace clutch versus another well-known brand clutch? Because not a lot of people know who we are. So, people are going to wonder what's wrong with you. No.
So I was searching for the right clutch. I didn't want to be in it 2-3 grand. I don't have that kind of budget. I was like, I don't want to be broke, but I want like a killer clutch. And I was actually searching through Brian Tooley Racing, and they had this Ace Power Force clutch. It had like the older gen face with all the ribs in it and everything, and it had the 3-prong grabbers too. And I was like, it's a twin disc too, so I was like, I'll never break it. And they had it listed for a really good deal, $1,000 for it. And so I called them on it, and I was like, I think this is a clutch I want. So I got this clutch, and I quickly realized that you guys are like the underdog, because I get so many questions at the track, like what clutch, what drivetrain you running in it, because I see everybody running these crazy clutches, and they're stalling, they're struggling to get to the line, and everybody's like, man, the thing runs good, it revs fast, and it's just like, it seems like you have no problem driving it. And I was like, ride in it with me, you'll see. I mean, there's no squeaking, there's no, you guys really are the underdog.
We got to throw a little disclaimer out. That's too good of a deal for that price. Wouldn't be paying just $1,000 for that thing.
Actually, they had it, I think, at like $1,800.
Yeah.
And I called them, and they were like, we've had this thing on the shelf for like 2 years. We don't know what to put in it. Put it in. And so I was like, well, I've got an LS3 Camaro. I'm really needing the clutch, because I ran the first event I ran in this car had a stock clutch in it, and you could smell it the whole way. And so I called them, and I was like, I tell you what, $1,000. I'm only about 3 hours from you, so I'll cover shipping and everything. And they were like, yeah, that's a deal. We'll get it out of our way. And
sitting on their shelf, they're like, man, who are we going to find come in the door for this thing?
Yeah, who's the sucker that's going to call about this thing?
I'm glad you're enjoying it. We love hearing those kinds of stories about, people getting our product and putting it in, because we get that question a lot, who are you guys? Never heard of you guys. But we don't mind. We enjoy really getting to know our customers and working with them on their cars. And that's what we want to, our whole mission here is to make driving fun. If you get in a car and you can't drive it, or you put the wrong clutch in it and it's not any fun to drive, man, that sucks. And
absolutely.
We definitely don't want that.
Our Camaro, I'm not going to say companies, but we put a clutch in it, and it was supposed to be this big bag clutch, and we got 1,000 miles out of it before it spun the clutch out of it, and the car sat for a year. We had plenty of other things we wanted to change on it, and so now that I'm running this one, I was like, maybe I'll put a different clutch in the Camaro. I'll put another Ace in it, and then we'll put the big Power Force in that car, because that's a big power single turbo car, and it really needs something big in it.
We wouldn't believe how many people come up to us at like SEMA or any other kind of show we go to, and they've spent, like you said, several $1,000s on this clutch they had to have, that either their buddies told them they needed or the internet told them that they needed, and they put it in their car and they hate driving it. Basically the love of their life that they put all that money into, that they can't stand driving it anymore. And that, to me, that's just totally wrong to the core, to be able to spend that kind of money and have to change everything about your car just so you can drive it again.
Yeah. I think like the biggest thing is that it really didn't last us that long. And that was the first part of the car we bought before we did the turbo kit, because we were like, we need to get the drivetrain set before we move on to that. And so it was like 3 months out of warranty too.
Well, we really don't want to make this about us. We kind of got off track, because we want this about you. We want people to get to know you and what you like, and enjoy your car.
Yeah,
So,
I tried to get a nice setup for you guys
oh,
today.
it's nice.
Looks
I like
good.
Yeah. So like, what's your favorite drive or, race, or what's your favorite thing to do driving your car? You got a certain track? You got a certain road you like to go on?
So I live out in Indiana, kind of the middle. I wouldn't say the middle of nowhere. There's a town up the street, but a lot of country roads. And we have this, we call it the Bright Loop. And basically, you start in this point, and if you just follow this same road, it'll bring you all the way back around. It's, I'd say, 6, 7 miles long, and it's got a little bit of straight in it, some corners, some curves, and like also all of my buddies live on this road too. So we all just kind of cruise around this loop. Most of that's also like our testing location for testing new cars and stuff. And then favorite track, I really like Cincy SCCA Autocross up at Traders World. That's where I go most of the times. I was trying to get into Kentucky Speedway for their autocross, but that just got canceled sadly. But we will be at that. We're also getting in the road course with the white car here too. Well, and then my father will be driving the black car too. So both cars will be running this season if we get to make it to any of the events due to COVID.
Yeah.
So, what got you started in cars? Was it a family member or just an interest, or what was it?
I would say family. Really, I was born into it. My dad's side, his mom, my grandma, she raced Corvettes, SCCA, autocross, back in the C2 Corvette eras, and then the funny part is my mom's side, her dad, my grandpa, also raced C2 Corvettes, drag racing, and so I've got a little bit of racing of all kinds on both sides. Boat racing, car racing, autocross, drag racing, everything. So really, I was born into it. When I was young, my mom had a Taurus SHO. So that car, I guess you could say that car kind of got me started on it too, because I would help Dad work on it all the time. And
I
then
miss those.
evolved quickly from there.
Yeah.
You can come back out with the SHO with a 6-speed in it. That'd be a fun car.
Yeah. Also, the 97 cent Hot Wheels probably started it too.
Yeah.
Used to have like Hot Wheels car shows when I was little.
Yep.
So, what's one of your favorite car memories? Either being in a car or at an event or working on a car with somebody, or what's your favorite memory like it?
I would say my favorite car memory, it wasn't the happiest for one of my friends, but it was great for the rest of us. We, my buddy Zach in the Mustang GT, he was over, and then my other friend Jeremy in the Pro Charge GTO, he had just finished putting it together, brand new motor, brand new blower, like whole 9 yard build. We were like, there's this car show going on, let's run down there to the car show. So we hop on the highway, and we were like, let's make a stop at Mexico on the highway. Let's play around a little bit. So we're playing around on the highway, and I look in my mirror. I was in front of Jeremy in the GTO. Look in my mirror, and there's just smoke barreling out of his car. And I was the only. I'm naturally aspirated, and I was the only guy with the fire extinguisher. So we pulled over. I had a friend with me that was riding with me, and he's like, let's pull over, let's grab the fire extinguisher and run back there. This thing's on fire. So we get back there, wasn't on fire. It had blown the rear main out and put oil on the headers. Luckily, it didn't catch on fire. But just a fluke thing, I guess. I don't know if it was a defective rear main, but blew the rear main out, oil all over the highway. We were sitting on the side of the highway. It was dusk, really pretty sunset. We're all hanging out there, and there was an exit right down from the highway, probably about a mile. So let's get some oil. We'll limp it off the highway. So we took a water bottle and we cut the bottom of it off to use it as a funnel with some cheap oil just to fill it to get it off the side of the highway. I've got pictures from it too. The best thing is the driver of the GTO had a streetcar takeover shirt that on the back of it, it said, race it, fix it, repeat. I was like, this is perfect. So I told him, I was like, you got to lean up against the car, and I got to get a picture of this.
Yeah. Hopefully he did.
Yeah, I got the pictures. I can send them over to you guys.
Great. I'm sure
Yeah.
Joe's got some stories we can't share right now in the car.
No. Yeah.
So, if money was no object, what would you do to your car? What would you change about it?
I would say the biggest thing I'd like to change is the brakes. It has Brembo 4 pistons on it, but these cars are heavy. I'd really like to step up into a much bigger brake. I like the Alcon kit. I'm nowhere near being able to afford that kit, but I really like that kit. So I'd like to do that, and then probably Sparco seats in it.
Do you have any future plans for it right away? Like, what's next?
Next, probably just kind of tidy up the engine bay. I painted everything on it. Like, I painted the whole motor before I put it in. I spent a lot of time, but there's still, like, I'd like to swap all the bolts to Allen heads, and then I'd really like to swap over to Modal 600 brake fluid too, because I was having trouble with braking last year. It kept boiling the fluid over.
Yeah. You know, you got to be able to steer and stop, you know, so pick one, I guess.
Yeah. Yep. It used to be I would come into the pits and everybody'd be like, man, what's he wiping off the back of the shock tower? And I was like, it just blew the cap off again. We'll just top it off. We'll go do another lap.
Man, well, you know, David, I appreciate you getting on here and doing this with us. It's been great getting to know you a little bit. I know we're going to work together on your next build there, hopefully, and get some stuff going there. Is there anything about Ace or anything you want to know, you don't know, or anything we can tell you?
I would really like to know what's next. You guys have a clutch for just about every field. I'm kind of interested to see, are you guys going to dabble into the dual clutch territory with the new C8s, or are you going to stick to clutches?
That's you know, that's a pretty good question, because we have those conversations here all the time.
Yeah.
There's an awful lot that we still want to do in traditional clutch without dual clutch. As everybody knows, you know, stick cars are going away. We talk to a lot of people that have some older hot rods, and they just don't enjoy driving their car, stick car anymore, because the clutch is so hard to push in and things. So we're really looking at ways to use technology, be that in clutch design or materials for friction, or even using some electronics to help assist with things, to keep people in their stick cars, to make it a lot easier to drive. But who knows what we're going to do. But you know, we really appreciate you being on here. Give us a call. We'll get that going. I know we got some stuff we talked about we want you to test, and we really appreciate it, David. Thank you for being a customer.
Yes,
it means a lot to us.
Problem.
Thank you.
All
We'll
right.
get you a hat. You don't have one yet. We'll get you a hat.
It's your
Just throw it in my box.
There you go. Yeah. It's your brother. He want to jump on there and give a shout out to anybody?
Then I gotta have it. I'll take another one.
One thing we've got to ask you guys: give your family business a plug here. Give them a shout out.
So we aren't officially a business yet, but he's not necessarily associated with it. He helps out a ton, but that's not what he wants to do. We're 111 Motorsports, 3 1s, and then Motorsports. We're on Instagram too, and then my personal page on Instagram is murderedRS with an underscore before the RS.
Great.
Awesome.